Hello and welcome to a Football Manager experiment video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be relegating all of the Premier League teams to the Championship and promoting 20 Championship sides to the Premier League and seeing what happens. Just quickly before the video starts, if you enjoyed the content, please give it a like and subscribe if you're new. It would really mean a lot to me and it'll help me grow moving forward. But let's get on with the video. So as you can see, the Premier League is looking considerably different to what we're used to, as is the Championship. I've made a similar video on FIFA 21 and did the exact same thing, so in a way it would be nice for me to compare what happens and see how similar FIFA and Football Manager are in terms of simulation, because I would say the Football Manager simulation is, or Football Manager as a game is significantly more realistic than FIFA, but I guess we'll see. But as you can see here, here's the big boy league now in England. It's the Championship. No one cares about the Premier League. You can see every team has been relegated. Obviously in the Championship there's 24 teams, so there's going to be 4 teams that weren't in the Premier League, and you'd imagine they'd finish in the bottom, seeing as I left Wycombe, Luton, Rotherham and Coventry in this league. None of them should have the ability to finish above any of the Premier League teams, even the worst ones, but I guess we'll see. And looking at the Premier League, who are we saying wins this? You can leave a comment if you like, telling me who you think's going to win this before you see it. Don't cheat. And we'll go from there. You'd imagine one of the teams that got relegated last season, like Watford or Bournemouth, are very strong teams, should be up there, potentially winning the Premier League and get themselves into the Champions League. Who can know? In the editor, I just put the Premier League teams down into the Championship. I didn't bother changing all the European competitions. So for instance, Chelsea is still going to be in the Champions League. So is that going to affect it? They're going to have quite a lot of games to play, because obviously there's 46 games in the Championship, plus any playoff games that might happen. So people are going to be playing a lot of games. I'll do what I did in my FIFA video of the same thing. I'm just going to simulate to the end of the summer transfer window, the end of the January window, and then the end of the league and see what happens. You would imagine some big players get sold because no one wants to play in the Championship regardless if you're in the Champions League or not. But I guess we'll see. In the FIFA video, not much happened there in terms of transfers, but at the same time, FIFA's not meant to be realistic. Just a football game. Football Manager's meant to be a literal simulation of the footballing world. But anyway, enough babbling. I'll see you at the end of the summer window in like 2 seconds. Last thing before I simulate, here's me, Steve's levels, not doing anything in the job centre. I'm not controlling anyone. In the FIFA video, I had to control Newcastle. I didn't have to. I chose to control Newcastle, but I didn't do anything. But maybe that hindered them. So at least this way, no funny business. We're at the end of the summer transfer window now. We'll have a quick sneak peek at the league. Liverpool are top after 3 games. Obviously a very small sample size, but they are top after 3 games, winning every game they've played, as a West Ham. I guess they're joint with West Ham, Chelsea, Southampton. City have lost the game against Fulham. Man United at 8th. Newcastle are down in 15th. That's depressing. Arsenal are down in 13th. Luton, of all teams. Oh, they beat Newcastle. Luton, of all teams, early on in mid-table. And the relegation early on, Crystal Palace are at the bottom. Coventry and Rotherham and Spurs are doing very bad. I say they're doing very bad. They've played 1 game, everyone else has played 3. This will be a very brief look, as obviously not much has happened. Let's have a look at the transfers. Right, so FIFA, FIFA of all games has had more transfer movement at this point than Football Manager did. And so we're going to go to the end of the January transfer window, have a look at the league, see if any more transfers has happened, and we'll go from there. Alright, it's February 1st. I haven't looked yet, so we'll look together. Let's hope something's actually happened. At least the league positions would have changed, so let's have a look. So on February 1st, Chelsea are out in front. They've only lost 1 game, which was to Liverpool. They have a 1-point lead over second place Man City. The playoff spots consist of Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United and West Ham. So yeah, it's pretty close. Obviously some teams are going to have to miss out, so some big teams will be staying in the Championship, like Arsenal, quite a way off the pace, but again, there's a lot of game in hand here. Realistically, I probably should have taken them out of Europe just to let it not impact the promotion, but I guess who can manage their squad best is going to prevail in this league. As a Newcastle fan, am I surprised to see them in 18th? I'd like to think they'd be doing better. Everton in 9th with Carlo Ancelotti. I'm assuming he's still there. Any other surprises? Crystal Palace are quite far down there, but a lot of people have games in hand. Like Arsenal, like I said, they're off the pace in 8th place, but they do have like a good 5 games in hand on Tottenham, but only like 1 game in hand on the top teams. So it's really interesting, to be honest. We'll have a quick little peek at the top scorers. Even though Newcastle are 18th, Callum Wilson's been banging them in, Danny Ings as well. Quick little look at the average ratings. Roberto Firmino is playing pretty well, so is Bernardo Silva and Harry Kane, all averaging above a 7.6. Williams just getting assists, as is John Joe Shelby, so Newcastle players can get stats, but not results. And Edison is topping it with the clean sheets. Did any transfers happen? Yes, they did. Arsenal sold Nicolas Pepe for 41 million to Marseille. Amad Diallo went from Atlanta to Man United. It might have been a pre-arranged thing already, I'm not too sure. And Ndombele has gone to Stuttgart for 18 million. I don't know why I said 20 million. For 18 million, that's not a bad deal. So is Granit Xhaka. We are starting to see Premier League clubs selling their players now. Kevin Phillips went to Man City, of all teams. Interesting. Scott McTominay to Shakhtar. Divock Origi to Ajax. So they are selling players. No one too big in terms of talent level. I mean, you could argue Ndombele turns into quite a good player in this game. There's not many big transfers into the Premier League, the Premier Championship clubs, if you will. But at least player movement is starting to happen, slowly but surely. Let's have a quick little peep at the Premier League. Let's just see what's happening. Norwich are out in front with Brentford in second, Bournemouth, and Sheffield Wednesday topping off the Champions League spot. That's going to be quite the showing from the English clubs in the Champions League. and Barnsley, Swansea and Derby in the relegation zone. I'll show all of the competitions at the end, like the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. I might even have a look at the Champions League just of interest, does it actually matter? But surprised to see Chelsea out in front. In the FIFA simulation I did, they didn't do great. Arsenal did quite well in that simulation and they're down in 8th, but like I said, they do have games in hand. The Championship's meant to be one of those leagues that anyone can win, and there's always a surprise every year. So maybe there'll be a surprise team that goes up instead of the big guys. I mean, West Ham are in 6th, Fulham are in 7th, so like any of those teams could go up. You never know, it's the Championship. But I'll simulate to the end of the season now, and we can have a proper look at everything and what's happened after a year. So see you in a second. Okay, a year has passed in our new look Championship, so let's see who won it and who went up. Chelsea finished first. I'm genuinely surprised. Chelsea finished first with 111 points. 2 points behind them are Man City, and 3 points behind them were Liverpool, who don't go up. A little spoiler of that bit, telling me they probably won the Champions League there. But Liverpool got 106 points and didn't get automatic promotion. But Chelsea and Man City will be joining the Premier League by Man United, and Tottenham and Arsenal miss out. Let's have a look at the playoffs, see how that went down. So in the semi-finals of the playoffs, Liverpool managed to win on 3-1 on aggregate over Arsenal, and Man United managed to beat Tottenham 4-3 on aggregate. So they were quite close games. In the final, it went to penalties against Liverpool too. Yikes. I mean, big derby game between Liverpool and Man United. Just, you don't normally expect the big derby games to happen, you know, in the Championship, but that's what the video's about. Okay, spoilers for the FIFA video if you haven't watched a direct comparison basically, but you should watch it if you haven't. So in the FIFA video, Spurs finished first, Man City finished second, so that stayed the same, and in the playoffs Arsenal went up, but obviously different here, Man United went up. So Liverpool in the Champions League will be staying in the Championship for next season. Very interesting. Maybe they'll go up at the second time of asking, who can know, but that in 2 simulations Liverpool have failed to gain promotion to the Premier League in the Championship, so it shows how hard the Championship is, because they'd had a very good record, it just wasn't good enough. Everton finished 7th, West Ham and Fulham finished pretty high, and Brighton really, all finished pretty high up the table. Leicester were disappointing, Newcastle, Wolves finished 14th, which is kind of disappointing for them. And near the bottom of the table, the bottom 4 were the 4 sides that I left here. Luton have, in my opinion, done quite well not to go down there, but Crystal Palace underperformed, probably Leeds did as well. Let's have a quick little look at the Premier League and see who's representing England in Europe next year. The Bournemouth end up coming out on top on 71 points. It's probably the lowest scoring Premier League win ever, to be honest. Norwich in 2nd, Nottingham Forest and Brentford. That's also different because in the FIFA video, I'm pretty sure I relegated Bournemouth in the FIFA video actually, but in the FIFA video, Brentford managed to come out on top. And then Bristol City are in 5th. And who goes down? Derby, Middlesbrough and Barnsley. I don't expect Derby and Middlesbrough to do quite well. They've had Premier League experience fairly recently. Not that it matters, it's a simulation, but meant to be realistic, remember. Let's have a look at the cups. Let's start with the Carabao Cup. Chelsea have just done the famous Championship and Carabao Cup double. Look at them. They won on penalties over Man City as well. I haven't taken Frank Lampard off of Chelsea in this because there was no update for it and I probably should have done it, but I can be asked. You know what, he's just found his true calling. Chelsea in the Championship, he would have flourished. Chelsea in the Premier League, not so much. Who got to the semis? Norwich got very far as a Premier League representation, but wasn't to be, as did Liverpool. Ultimately, Chelsea come out on top. Onto the FA Cup, there's a Manchester derby in the final, and Man United have come out on top on penalties. Man City have lost 2 trophies on penalties. That's just unlucky for them. They could have had a treble in the Championship, but again, wasn't to be. Man United fans will be happy, you know. They might be in the Championship, but they're going into the Premier League with silverware. Liverpool did win the Champions League, as we thought, because they basically spoiled it in the Championship League table. But they beat Atletico Madrid on penalties. Every final seems to be penalties in this game so far. Well, I say this game, in this simulation. So Atletico Madrid have effectively lost to a Championship side there. Now that one's sinking. Anyone gets to semis, that was of interest. Man City, again, did quite well in all competitions, but ultimately, Liverpool win on penalties. I managed to stay in Europe, even though they're in a Championship, so maybe they won't be too downhearted. And in the Europa League, Napoli managed to win 2-1 over Chelsea in the final. Chelsea could have had quite a good season with silverware there, but they didn't need it in the end. Oh wait, they're not going to have Champions League. They did need this to get Champions League. It's actually be you, Frank Lampard. But again, Napoli came out on top, so at least Napoli can beat Championship material, but apparently Atletico Madrid can't. In the semis, did anyone else from the Championship do well? Nah. All the English teams have gone by this point. The Championship schedule clearly has just sucked the life out of English clubs because they're not making it very far in these competitions. Back to the Championship, the last thing I'll have a look at is the top scorers. Dominic Calvert-Lewin finished top scorer with 24 goals. Chris Wood from Burnley with 23 and Callum Wilson from Newcastle with 23. Maybe they'll be hot property for the new Premier League sides, you never know. Harry Kane finished with the highest average rating, and John Joe Shelby got 16 assists, flourishing in the Championship, as you do. If I do another one of these videos, maybe I'll go 5 years down the line. It'll be interesting to see if the Sky Bet Championship raises in competition reputation and the Premier League will most likely drop. Because obviously the people representing it in the Premier League are going to be significantly lower stature, but you never know. Bournemouth may turn into a European powerhouse if I go 5 years into the future. Probably not, but they've got the money now. For me, this has been a super interesting video. I didn't expect Chelsea to win it at all. I expected Man City and Liverpool to do well, but I guess Man City filled my expectations. I still think it's bad that Liverpool missed out, but not everyone can go up. Championship is such a hard league. There's 46 games, and obviously the playoffs anyone can win. Plus, a lot of these teams would have been in Europe as well, so maybe that's affected them quite negatively. Let me know if you want me to do another season of this, or jump forward a bit more, maybe like 5 years and see what happens. Our sides like Liverpool and Tottenham, Arsenal even, going to get stuck in this league. Obviously, I don't think Chelsea, City and United are ever coming back down. They have the money and the reputation to stay up, but will the leagues slowly filter back to what they were, or will someone just get stuck here? Because like I said, only 3 teams can go up, so people are going to have to be down here a while. But I think that'll do it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and like I said, subscribe if you're new. I'll be looking to pump out a lot of content in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But if you enjoyed the video again, please give it a like, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.